same division in the National League Central. Let's go out to right field and hear from Joel Goldberg. Joel.
Well, Ryan, on that subject, I was asking Ned Yost today what he might think about this series and how big it is to people in the state. And he said, I don't know if it's necessarily a rivalry or not, but I know what it's like to have a rivalry with the Cardinals. And he said when he started in Milwaukee, it wasn't that great of a rivalry because the Brewers just weren't that good. They went 3-13 against the Cardinals his first year. But then each of the next few years, they actually were better than 500, and it became a rivalry as the Brewers got better. And he said that's got to be the goal right now, for the Royals to be good every year like the Cardinals. Then it truly becomes a rivalry. He was also asked about if it'll bother him to see so much red in the stands, and he said, I'm never disheartened when the stands are full. It's always good to see a big crowd. Plus, with all those Cardinal fans here, if we play well, a little bit of motivation to shut them up, guys.
And there is plenty of red here tonight mixed in with blue. Of course, red stands out a lot more than blue, so it always looks like a lot more than it actually is. But they do have a great following, and they enjoy coming over to Kansas City for this series. Skip Schumacher will lead off. He had a great year last year against the Royals, and he begins 2010 with a base hit into center field. He hit .385 against the Royals last year. So he wastes no time, and the Cardinals have the leadoff man on.
Well, I think they know Zach's going to try to get ahead with his fastball, and if he doesn't hit the target, then they're going to be ready to swing the bat on the first pitch.
And now Matt Holliday, who is the Cardinals' number 2 hitter. And 9 games ago, Tony La Russa moved him to the number 2 position. And since then, he has hit .444, and he goes after the first pitch. And DeJesus coming up with the sun shining off of his glasses, and retires Holliday. 89 degrees, beautiful night in Kansas City. We started right on time at 7:10, and the time and temp is brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCA. Albert Pujols. He has been a monster against the Royals overall. And here at Kauffman Stadium, he has been a very difficult out. In his career in this ballpark, a .400 batting average, 12 home runs, 36 RBIs, and all of that in 27 games. So it hurts as it is that he went to school right down the road from Kauffman Stadium, but to add insult to injury, he just ruins the Royals in this ballpark.
But he just really destroys that myth about the ballpark being too big. If you can hit home runs, you can hit home runs. But he's one of those guys trying to hit home runs all over the ballpark.
Two balls and one strike.
Well, look at Fox Tracks here, and Zach had that fastball move back in and did catch the corner. And then this one here on the inside corner. So right now, C.B. Buckner going to have to establish himself on the outer half of the plate.
Slider is pulled to third, and the Royals turn a double play. So Zach needs only 6 pitches to get out of the first inning. pitchers for the longest current streak in the major leagues. Facing former Royal Jeff Suppan. Here's the Kia report.
Well, he knows this stadium very well, Ryan. 27-21 all time, but does have a high ERA and 2-3 career record versus the Royals. So the key to Suppan, I think, is going to be that cutter on the outside corner. He doesn't challenge a lot inside, so pitches away. The cutter on the outside is going to be his pitch tonight.
Suppan now 35 years old and was released by the Milwaukee Brewers early this month and then signed on with the Cardinals. So he's making his third start with St. Louis. Scott Pasednik hit 300 during the last road trip and drove in 5 runs. So he's got his overall average up to 288. Deep short, and that's past Lopez and into left field. So both teams get a leadoff single in the first inning. Suzuki will show us the Cardinals defensively with Matt Holliday, Colby Rasmus, and Randy Wynn in the outfield. David Freese, Felipe Lopez, Skip Schumacher, and Albert Pujols around the horn, and another former Royal, Jason LaRue, is behind the plate. And now Jason Kendall. He caught Jeff Suppan in Milwaukee. And Jason has a very unique thought about a catcher facing a pitcher that he once caught. Now, normally catchers will say, no, there's no advantage. It's completely different when you're standing at the plate. And the pitchers, of course, say, well, it is an advantage for the hitter. He knows my tendencies. And Jason Kendall will say, well, it should be an advantage for me, but you just have to look at the numbers, because he will admit, yeah, I should know his tendencies. I should know what he wants to do in certain counts and certain situations, but that doesn't automatically mean you're going to get a hit off him every time.
Well, that's true, and there's another catcher behind the plate, too, and that catcher might change the sequence of pitches that he might not think the same way that Jason Kendall thought when he was catching Jeff Suppan.
Well, he has good numbers against Suppan, and that's in 24 at-bats. And he is homered against the former Brewer, the former Royal, the former Red Sox, the former Pirate, and now back with the Cardinals. LaRue looks down to first. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, the Royals really haven't tried a lot of straight steals. Everything they've done lately has been on the hit and run variety. But that was one of Scott Pasednik's best weapons early in the year. You get on first, steal second, get moved to third, and you got your number 3 hitter with a runner on third, hitting with a runner on third.
Close play. Suppan always with the quick feet and manages the running game well. We remember that from him in his days here in Kansas City. This year, opponents have only stolen 3 bases against him. Pasednik has 20 this year. And he's running. Kendall swings and misses. Pasednik is out.
That's really something you never see Jason do much of, is swing through a pitch without making some contact. But this looks like a hit and run again, Ryan, and Kendall swings through, and Pasednik's the easy target at second base. Now that's a real good tag right there, and maybe a little higher on the leg. You want to tag on top of the ankle if you can, and not get that glove between the foot and the bag. So the intent there was very good by Lopez.
So 2-2 to Kendall. Just 3 out of 21 in Atlanta and Washington, but he did drive in 4 runs. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jeff Suppan with the Royals from 1998 through 2002. He was the Royals Pitcher of the Year in both 2000 and 2001. That's not where LaRue wanted that pitch. He was motioning down. It stays up, and it's 3-2. The career record before Kansas City was with the Boston Red Sox, then with the Royals, and has pitched very well since leaving the Royals, pitching exclusively in the National League. And he was with the Cardinals in 06 when they won the World Series. And in the National League Championship Series against the Mets, Jeff Suppan was the series MVP. So Kendall down to first with a one-out walk, and that brings up David DeJesus.
But Jeff has been a pitcher over the years that really knows how to pitch, Ryan. He's a veteran. He knows what he needs to do. Like you said earlier, he controls the running game very well. I think Tony La Russa would be just happy to get 5 innings out of Jeff. You know, and keep the team in the ball game and kind of let the bullpen take over at that point.
He's only made 4 starts with the Brewers and the Cardinals combined, and he's only averaged about 4 1/3 innings over those 4 starts. Throws a strike to David DeJesus.
That's not unusual to have a 5th starter. Some of the better teams that score runs, they wouldn't mind having a 5th starter that can pitch 5 innings, and then if you got a good bullpen and let the bullpen take over, and they do that consistently enough, then they're going to have a pretty good year. Storm Davis did it with the A's. Scott Sanderson did it with the A's. 19 wins, but he was only pitching maybe 5 2/3, 5 1/3 innings every start.
David with 8 hits on the trip and 4 doubles. He has done well against the Cardinals, and now he's hitting .325 overall this year, thanks to this great month of June for him. So in the middle of May, towards the latter parts of May, David hitting in the 260s, and now he's been right around .320 now for about 2 or 3 weeks. Still 1-2. Now the Royals hoping to get their offense going against Suppan, who carries with him a 6.81 ERA into the game tonight. And the Royals haven't been having trouble lately getting hits. That was a familiar theme during the road trip. Plenty of hits, not enough runs. And the Royals with just 5 runs in their last 3 games, but averaging about 10 hits per game over that stretch. And they're facing a pitcher tonight, at least the starting pitcher, who has given up 62 hits in 40 innings. That's about a .380 opponent's batting average.
That's when you feel good coming to the ballpark. But you watch Alberts holding Jason Kendall on first base right here. He comes off the base, and for big guys who don't have quick feet that don't want to get caught sideways, now he's in a pretty good position right there where he can be squared up to the hitter and still be able to take a throw back from the pitcher.
Down goes DeJesus on strikes, 2 away.
This is classic Jeff Suppan right here. He just works off the corner. That's why he reminds me so much of Brian Bannister and how he approaches the game every day. They just don't want to be in the middle of the plate, cutter to the corner, a little two-seamer down away, but just always trying to create some ball movement. But getting back to what you were saying, Ryan, if you got that many hits versus innings pitched, and if you're an offensive team, then you just basically saying, okay, it's going to happen. You know, you're always optimistic you're going to get a lot of hits in this game. That one inning that you need to break the game open, it seems like it's always right around the corner in the hitter's mind.
Billy Butler coming off a tough road trip. He was just 4 out of 24 in Atlanta and Washington. Very high in the air over near the dugout suite, so Pujols runs out of room. And it's 1-1. Billy got off to a very good start on the trip. a week ago tonight in Atlanta, and we told you about how he grew up rooting for the Braves and watched them on TV every day. Big fan of Chipper Jones. Well, Billy walked in his first plate appearance and then homered in his second plate appearance, but then only had one more hit the rest of the trip. He is facing Jeff Suppan for the first time. Rolls away from LaRue, but Kendall stays put. Suppan's last year with the Royals, we said, was 2002. And Billy Butler was the Royals' first-round pick in 04. So you do the math. Billy was just a sophomore in high school the last time Suppan pitched for KC. And with all this talk about the I-70 series, and this is the 25th anniversary now of the Royals World Championship, Billy Butler wasn't even born yet.
That's why it'd be hard to talk about a rivalry between the Cardinals and Royals, because first of all, you don't play each other enough, and you have to play a lot of games. You have to win a lot of games to create a rivalry, and you got to win them late in the season.
Lopez fields a ground ball, throws low, but Pujols digs it out, and the Royals are down in the first inning. So both teams getting a leadoff single in the first inning. The Royals getting a double play from Pujols. The big play for the Cardinals was Scott Pasednik getting thrown out trying to steal in the bottom of the first. A reminder to look for the Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment later in tonight's game. Zach Greinke will get Ryan Ludwig, Colby Rasmus, and Felipe Lopez. And the Cardinals have decided that they are going to come out swinging against Zach tonight. Skip Schumacher opened the game with a single to center field on the first pitch. Then the second pitch of the game to Matt Holliday ended up in right field for a flyout. Albert Pujols grounded into a double play. Now Ryan Ludwig going after the first pitch in the second inning. And there's Mark McGwire in his first year as hitting coach for the Cardinals, replacing Royals Hall of Famer Hal McRae. McGwire, of course, a prolific power hitter, but he's done some good work before he became Cardinals hitting coach with more line drive type hitters, so he doesn't necessarily try and teach his game to everyone. Not to mention that that's probably impossible to do.
That was going to be my comment. I don't see how he can ever get anybody to do what he did. And I remember his rookie year when he hit 49 home runs. I mean, he was just some kind of big guy.
Ludwig down on strikes. So Zach strikes out his first and one away in the second inning. Let's take a look at that last pitch on Fox Tracks, brought to you by Taco Bell.
Well, you can see Kendall set up on the outside corner, and actually just wasn't where Zach really wanted his pitch to go, but it backed up enough that it was able to get it under the swing.
And now Colby Rasmus, former Cardinal first-round pick, and he takes strike one. So Rasmus right now is the Cardinals' number 5 hitter, with Holiday batting second. And he's having a good year, and there's a base hit into center field with one out. So 1 on 1 out. Rasmus has stolen 8 bases this year. And here's veteran Felipe Lopez. Lopez spent a little bit of time on the disabled list this season. Back in the middle of April, he had some soreness in his right elbow, and you might remember a marathon game that the Cardinals played, which required them to go to a position player in a long game against the New York Mets, and Felipe Lopez pitched in that game, and then shortly after that the elbow flared up. The question was asked to Ned Yost in an extra inning game when the Royals were in Cincinnati as his bench was thinning out. What position player would he use if he needed to use one? He said, one that is smart enough not to go out there and try and throw the ball 95 miles an hour and get himself hurt.
Well, I would say, who is that guy? Because I think once you get on the mound and you got the ball in your hand, you might not be able to throw 95, but you're going to throw at the top of whatever you think you have, but try to get yourself. If you're going to just say lob it up there, you're going to be out there all day. But when you're on the mound, everybody wants to be a pitcher at that time.
It was a 20-inning game between the Cardinals and the Mets back on April the 17th. To Butler, looks at second, but he'll take the sure out. So Lopez is down. Rasmus moves up to second base. Billy looking up at the video screen to see if he made the right play.
Well, he had the right intent when he made the play, but he realized he didn't have a good line to throw the ball down the shortstop, so he decided to make sure you get that one out. Always take the sure out.
So runner at second, 2 down for David Freese, batting .300 for the Cardinals. And Zach misses down and away. Last year, the Cardinals used 7 different third basemen. So hoping to solidify that position this year. And Freese actually began last year with the Cardinals, but was injured early in the season and ended only playing 17 games at the big league level. Still considered a rookie. And only Gabby Sanchez of the Marlins has a higher batting average among National League rookies. Two balls, one strike. Three balls, one strike, with Jason LaRue on deck. Freese was born in Texas, but he grew up in the St. Louis area, so a dream come true for him to play for the Cardinals. He was originally drafted by the Padres, but then traded to St. Louis in a deal that sent Jim Edmonds to San Diego. Zach comes right at him with a fastball at 96, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I don't think Zach yet has finally figured out the location. He's not really hitting the spot like he really wants to. And I think there's one thing he'd really like to add to his repertoire is being able to get another pitch over first pitch for strike, other than like the real slow curveball or maybe a little bit better curveball, a little bit harder curveball, maybe even a slider. But that's really been the reason they've been ambushing him early, is because he hasn't really got that location of fastball down yet, and they just hope to get a couple runs on the board in the first couple innings.
And he takes a walk. Freese does, so down to first. And the Cardinals have 2 on with 2 out.
When we take a look at Zach's delivery here, Ryan, you can see right there's a lot of intensity in his face, and he just comes up over the top. There's a 4-seamer that he's throwing, but you can just see that he's just putting a ton of effort in every fastball that he's throwing. And so you hope by looking at that delivery that you hope he's not trying to overthrow. You hope he can relax, and he's kind of jumping a little bit off the mound after his fastball. It's been a little bit more upright. Normally he would just throw the fastball and the right leg would come down, he'd land and be in the same spot. But a lot of his pitches tonight, he's thrown the ball, then he's been running down the hill a little bit.
Fouled away by Jason LaRue. Well, you mentioned that other pitch to jump ahead with, and Zach has given up 13 home runs this year, and that's already 2 more than all of last year. But several of those were that big curveball, that slow curve that he tried to drop in for a strike, and some teams were figuring that out and hitting that ball out of the ballpark.
It's more of a hanger the way he throws it up there, and he just needs something a little more bite, a little more speed, and I think that would be a good pitch for him to start some hitters off with.
Fastball comes in at 98 miles an hour.
We haven't seen 98 in a while, but he does have an extra day, so that might make a big difference.
Not just 98, but 98 at the knees on the outside corner.
And when you hit the glove, you can do some wonderful things out there.
LaRue batting at just 143, and he's 0 for his last 9. With 1 out, Colby Rasmus singled, and with 2 outs, David Freese walked. And now Zach ahead, no balls, 2 strikes. And he finishes off LaRue, and the Cardinals with a fastball that came in at 100 on the stadium radar. Hall of Fame, where it's nice and cool, is Joe Goldberg.
Ryan, thanks. July 16th is the one-year anniversary of the Royals Hall of Fame, but they've already got some new exhibits. Kurt, tell us a little bit about what's going on.
You know, this is one of my favorites here. This is stuff that's on loan from the National Baseball Hall of Fame. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary of our World Series. This is all items related to the World Series. One of the coolest is this one right here. 1903, the very first modern World Series. That baseball was used, the first pitch in that particular game. So that's incredible, all the way back to the beginning of the World Series. Right next to it is a Kansas City native, Casey Stengel, who, of course, won a lot of World Series as a manager. Those are some shoes that he wore when he was managing the Yankees. And then, of course, this weekend we have the Cardinals in town, so we share a little bit of history with them with Darryl Porter. But this is about that Darryl used when he was playing for the Cardinals in that 82 World Series when he was MVP.
All right, great stuff. As always, that's Kurt Nelson. We'll have more for you guys in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Joel. So they continue to add on to the Royals Hall of Fame, which opened in July of last year, and it really is worth seeing if you come out to the ballpark. Just make sure you come out early and give yourself enough time to see all the different exhibits. It's certainly something you don't want to rush through. And now with the Hall of Fame helping us out, there's even more to look at. 2 balls and no strikes to Alberto Callaspo after Jose Guillen grounded out sharply to Freese at third base. Alberto picking things up on the last trip. He hit 360 and now is hit in 6 straight games. Off speed, and that's lined into right center field. It's a long run for Randy Wynn, and Alberto thought about trying for 2, but he'll hold. So a runner at first with 1 away. And Callaspo begins the homestand with a base hit, and now he's hit in 7 in a row.
Well, Ryan, this is a cutter that Soup left out in the middle of the plate, and Alberto with that short swing was able to get the head through this ball. And like you say, he left home plate running, trying to get a double, but you see he got the bottom hand through the ball and then turn over to left and he completed the swing. And that allows you to drive the ball and not roll over and hit those toppers.
A strike to Mike Aviles. Now he's hit in 6 straight. So the Royals 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Jose Guillen has hit in 18 in a row. Callaspo 7 straight. And now Aviles 6 in a row. He did not play on Sunday in Washington against Steven Strasburg. Chris Getz was at second. And to second base, Schumacher to Lopez. Didn't give him a very good feed, and that cost him a double play.
Schumacher thought they turned a double play. He was trotting off the field, but you can't loft that ball up there. You got to have a little straightness to this ball. Aim for the Lopez's letters so he can run through that ball and make the double play. But he threw a ball that really just took him up in the air, and when he had to reach like that, it just takes away from the effectiveness of the shortstop coming through. You got to keep his both hands together by directing that ball right to the chest.
Somewhat of a coincidence or irony that Aviles reaches because the Cardinals didn't turn that double play, because both second basemen are still somewhat new to that position and learning it. Remember, we talked about Schumacher last year, the outfielder that moved to second base. He was an infielder in college, but never played on the infield as a professional. Mike Aviles runs, and the pitch gets away from LaRue. Aviles will give it a look, but he'll hold at second base with a stolen base. And for Aviles, that is his first of the year.
Well, it looks like the Royals are going to continue to be aggressive, and Mike gets a good jump. LaRue tried to backhand this ball. If he tries to block it, he doesn't have a shot. So the only shot he has is to backhand it and get it on that first hop and make a good throw, but the ball got by. But you get back to Ludwig last year. Schumacher last year, Tony would take him out in key situations late in the game. He didn't want to have to lose a game with him at second base and have him think about that, so he would protect him that way. And talking to Mike today, he feels like his best is yet to come as far as turning double plays. That's where he feels like his weakness is still just maintaining that head control on the ball until he could get the transition from hand to glove and make the throw to first.
Remember Tony La Russa saying last year he couldn't remember a player going from the outfield to the middle infield in the middle of a major league career. In the air to right center field, Randy Wynn runs it down in front of the track. Royals are scoreless in the second, and there is no score after 2. Relief for you. I know it's a relief for the Royals to get this thing done with quickly.
Yeah, it was. It took a little while, but just because I like to play out there. But you know, it was quick. It was quick. It got done quick, and I'm excited to, you know, to get out there and start my pro career.
Yeah, we're happy you signed early too. Normally we're waiting down to the last minute, then all of a sudden you got a year wasted, and so to have guys come out of college ready to go play, that's huge, and not only for the organization, but it's huge for the player themselves.
Yeah, I think that I wanted to get out there and get some ABs and get started and start playing and work hard and you know.
So what's today been like for you? You signed the contract and you're a Royal now, and you're hanging around batting practice with the big leaguers. What are you feeling like right now?
Well, I want to get up here as soon as I can, that's for sure, you know, but I think, you know, they talked to me a little bit about what it's going to be like and, you know, something that I needed to know about the minor leagues and everything. And, you know, it's been my dream since I was a little kid and just to be up here and, you know, and seeing what it's like, it just really motivates me to keep working hard.
Well, Christian, how much experience have you had with the wooden bat?
I've had a lot, actually. You know, every summer I played. Pretty much my first freshman year and sophomore year summer, I played with Team USA, and we did a lot of wood bat. And you know, I swing it in the cages a lot. I was making sure that I could swing the wood and get familiar with the wood.
Right. You know, Ryan played in college, and when you face the pitching in college, a lot of times everything's away from you. Very rarely do they pitch inside.
Yeah.
So going to wood and going to pro ball, you're probably going to see more pitches inside. So have you thought about what adjustments you might want to try to make going aluminum to wood?
Yeah, I think I've been thinking about that. Yeah, you know, I'm just probably going to stay off the plate a little because in college I was really on the plate. And, you know, I had aluminum in my hand, so it was a little easier to, you know, take some balls inside. But I think I'm going to, stay away from the play a little bit and just, you know, make sure that I'm staying inside the ball because, you know, wood can break easily. So.
Well, staying inside the ball works up here, too.
Yeah.
Matt Holliday grounds out to third base. And, Christian, we'll let you get back to enjoying the ball game. And I know it's a big day for you and your family. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me, and I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
All right. Christian Colon, Royals first-round pick. Sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game is 10-year-old Sarah Struby from Kansas City, Missouri. And 3 times now, she has donated her hair to Locks of Love, an organization that provides hair pieces to financially disadvantaged children in the United States and Canada suffering from long-term medical hair loss. And she is going into the 7th grade and is working on her 4th set of hair to donate. So good for her. Hope she's enjoying the game. As the Royals come up in the bottom of the 3rd inning against Jeff Suppan. And I don't know if it's the exact same organization, but remember a few years back when Nick Swisher was playing for the Oakland A's, he was growing his hair long for the same purpose. One and one to Betancourt, who is just 3 out of 19 on the trip. He's back to the number 9 position with the American League rules. No pitcher hitting 9th. And that also means that Mitch Meyer gets back in the lineup again. Mitch was kind of the odd man out with Jose Guillen playing in right and no designated hitter. Somebody had to go, and that was Mitch.
And that's a lonely feeling, too. You're playing every day, and all of a sudden it just comes to a screeching halt. And you're trying to figure out how am I going to stay sharp? How am I going to stay in there? And now he's back in the American League, and he's happy tonight.
Royals have a couple of hits and a walk against Jeff Suppan. It'll be Betancourt, Posednik, and Kendall in the bottom of the 3rd. A little bit low, and it's 3-2. Suppan is a big guy, 6'2", 230, but he was never really a hard thrower, more of a control pitcher, relying more on movement and changing speeds as opposed to just reaching back and overpowering the hitter. And right now his range tonight in velocity has been anywhere from about 87 miles an hour to 90.
Well, that's pretty much where he's going to be, Ryan. And I tell you, the one thing that he's done, and he's gotten the best out of his career. I mean, he's been a workhorse. He throws innings. He stays healthy. And I think that's been one of the things that I've always liked about Jeff Suppan, is he never misses any start.
Strikes out Betancourt as Uni goes up and out of the strike zone. Soupy has his 2nd strikeout. Let's look at Fox Tracks, brought to you by Taco Bell.
Well, this is the pitch here that this is one of those pitches you make up your mind you're going to swing before the ball's released. And I mean, this ball was well up and in on Yuniesky Betancourt.
And now face Scott Posednik, who singled to left field in the 1st inning. And the Royals are running tonight against Suppan and Jason LaRue. LaRue threw out Posednik in the 1st, trying to steal 2nd. And then Mike Aviles was successful with a stolen base in the 2nd. Changeup is fair over the bag, past the ball boy. And Posednik is thinking about 3. Randy Wynn's throw is late and offline. Runner at 3rd, 1 out.
Well, Scotty does a great job getting his ball down. He stayed with that changeup right off the end of the bat, but rolled over on it enough to get it down the line just past Pujols. And this is where the magic comes in for Scotty. He realizes the ball, for Posednik, is that he let the ball he saw the ball get stuck underneath the wall there, and that allowed him to go to 3rd base.
And Posednik is safe at 3rd. Safe and secure. New York Life. Ball 1 to Jason Kendall. Jason walked in the 1st inning, but it appeared that he was either trying to protect or was trying to make contact on a hit and run. When Posednik was running in the 1st inning, he missed, and Posednik was gunned down. Cardinals bring the infield in, and as Tony La Russa does so often, Batter comes to the plate, looks around the infield's back, and then right before the pitcher delivers, they come crashing in. And here they come in again as Suppan deals. 3 balls, no strikes.
You know what Tony's doing right here is he's waiting for the third base coach to give his final instructions to the base runner. And right now Eddie might go back and say, make the ball go through. And then Tony counteracts by charging his middle guys to the infield in position. So it's more or less trying to counteract what he thinks manager Ned Yost wants his third base coach to do over there.
3 balls, 1 strike. So it's not so much as a distraction for the hitter as it is the base runner and the instructions he gets from the coach.
That's always been my understanding, is that he's just more or less trying to counteract what they want to do. You know, if the infield's in, once they've seen it a couple times, and they say, well, make the ball go through because they're coming in. Like right here, he'll say, make it go through.
And it does get through. So the Royals take a 1-0 lead as Kendall drives in Posednik.
Jason hits it in a good spot. Infield in. Right past Lopez at shortstop.
So David DeJesus comes up, and we'll take a look at tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint. David struck out looking his first time up. Who is the Royals MVP on offense so far? Billy Butler A, David DeJesus B, Jose Guillen C. Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, followed by a space and your selection. Off the end of the bat, and Freese will play it to first. So 2 down, and Kendall up to second base. Thought it was interesting reading the Kansas City Star this morning, and Bob Dutton talked about who the Royals All-Star should be this year. And not only did he make a case for each player, but then he had each player make a case for one of their teammates.
Well, that gives you an idea that these guys do pay attention. They know the guys that are making a difference on the ball club. And I always said it at the end of spring training, if you gave every player a sheet and said put your best 25 on it, they could probably do it a lot better than we as evaluators do, because they know who's getting the job done. And I thought that was interesting how that was put together.
So another one of the candidates, Billy Butler, up there with Kendall at second base, and a changeup misses away to Billy.
You know, they kind of broke each other down pretty honestly too, and they were all unselfish answers, and they all felt each one was deserving of going. And if it's a pitcher, definitely Soria. It's just amazing how that article gives fans an idea that these guys do pay attention to what's going on.
So far, the fans leaning towards DeJesus, 55%. Remember, if you participate tonight, Sprint will send you a bounce back text message, which will give you instructions on how you can sit in their suite. You and 11 guests enjoying a Royals game. 6 more opportunities coming up this year. That changeup stayed up. Billy didn't pull the trigger, and it's 2-1. And it's not just any suite. There we are. There's the Sprint suite right above us, so right behind home plate. Another changeup that stayed up. Billy got on this one and rolls it up the right field line and will drive in a run. And now Wynn has trouble in the corner, but Billy will stop at second base with his 24th double. And the Royals take a 2-0 lead.
We always say, Billy, you can fool him once, but it's hard to fool him twice. And he stays right on this pitch. You can see his head right on it. It is a great piece of hitting by Billy. It's just so much fun to watch him hit when he's doing it right. And he did this ball right inside the line. It just made it very easy for Kendall to score on that double.
Oh, 0-1 to Jose Guillen. Grounded out sharply to third in the second inning. Jose with an 18-game hitting streak. That's a career high for him. Over the outside, 0-2. Tonight's league leaders brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Josh Hamilton also has an 18-game hitting streak. These are the longest this year. And Jose, ever since going over 14 games, makes it a new career high with every hit.
Well, with Jose's comment, Ryan, I'm just a slappy hitter right now.
Yeah. Well, he had 9 hits on the road trip, and every hit was a single.
And some of them weren't very hard hit balls either. Some on the fist, some off the end of the bat. And he was attributing it to a blister on his foot and not being able to really rotate as much as he wants to. So he's more or less, in his mind, I'm just slapping the ball around.
Jason LaRue, he was ready to go back to the third base dugout thinking that was strike 3.
Well, everybody in the stands said, why wasn't that a strike? And C.B. Buckner says, what are you doing?
So Guillen lives to see another pitch, and this will be number 25 in the inning for Suppan. The Royals with 2 runs home in this inning, with Kendall and Butler driving in the runs, and now Billy down at second base with 2 outs for Guillen. And he grounds it foul the other way. Jose has the most experience of all the Royals against Jeff Suppan with 28 at-bats. The Royals have 5 hitters in there tonight who have never seen him before.
Right, when catchers are putting down signs, the last thing they want to do is they want to look up at the hitter. They want to make sure the hitter's not looking back, peeking back to see what they're doing. And that's the very last thing they do before they concentrate on the pitcher.
And now you see LaRue looking over at Tony La Russa before giving the sign to Suppan. Rounded off of his foot. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 home, runner at second. And Suppan wants LaRue to go through the signs again. With 1 out, Posednik tripled, Kendall singled him home. And with 2 outs, Butler's double got Kendall to the plate. Got a fastball up and out over the plate and fouled it away. Coming up on Sunday, the first 20,000 fans here at the ballpark will get a salute to the 1985 Royals World Series poster presented by James Printing. That's a 110 game. And select posters are signed by Frank. If you want to get your tickets, go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. And that pitch crossed up LaRue. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, a little quick thinking on LaRue's part here, Ryan. This is a pitch that he probably like a breaking ball going down. And all of a sudden, there's a fastball. He goes down on his knees like he's going to block a pitch, and there's a fastball chest high.
Now, since he didn't go out to the mound, I assume that's him saying that that was his fault.
I would think that way too.
Check swing and a base hit into right field. Here comes Billy around third base, and the throw is cut off. So Guillen stretches his hitting streak to 19, and the Royals lead 3-0.
You know, this is really what qualifies a slap hit, Ryan. But I think Suppan had him out there on so many pitches that he was thinking that way, and that gave him a better opportunity to hit this pitch, because he basically hadn't thrown inside at all. So he just strings the right-handed hitters out, and that ball's off the plate, and Jose's able to get a lot of bat on the ball.
Well, more like a tennis swing than it was a baseball swing. On the run, just trying to get the ball over the net in the corner.
Yeah, I think tomorrow when I see him, I'll just call him Slappy and see what kind of reaction I get.
Callaspo singled his first time. Takes a strike, and it's 1-1. We just showed you that Jose was tied with Josh Hamilton for the longest hitting streak in the majors this year. Both of those are current hitting streaks. And Josh Hamilton also has hit safely tonight. So Guillen and Hamilton with 19-game hitting streaks. 2 balls and 1 strike on Callaspo. It's a 32-pitch inning for Suppan, and the Royals have scored 3. Three runs on 4 hits in the inning for the Royals. 3-1. Suppan started the year and the Milwaukee Brewers rotation, the final year of a big contract, over $12 million a year. But after 2 starts, they moved him to the bullpen, then released him on June the 7th, signing with the Cardinals on June the 10th. And now making his 3rd start for St. Louis. Callaspo was on his way to first base. So now, in this inning, both teams are at odds with C.B. Buckner.
Well, Soup likes to pitch down, and this is where Dave Duncan would want all his pitchers to throw. And this is where Dave Duncan's got his work cut out for him. You get a guy who's been released, and now he's come to you. You've had him before. And so what changes are you going to recommend when he comes back to you?
Inside for ball 4. So 2 on with 2 out, and now 35 pitches in the inning. Suppan walks his 2nd. Remember, baseball's biggest stars go head-to-head for one spectacular night in the summer's biggest event, as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2010 All-Star Game. Coverage begins on Tuesday, July the 13th at 7 p.m. from Anaheim, only on Fox. Remember, Jason LaRue thought he was out of the inning. Thought that Jeff Suppan had struck out Jose Guillen. Didn't get the call from the home plate umpire. Guillen ends up singling, and now Callaspo walks. So 2 on for Mike Aviles. Aviles reaching on a force out in the 2nd inning, and then stole his first base of the year, coming off a road trip where he hit .368. He has Guillen at second base, Callaspo at first. 1-1. One ball, 2 strikes.
Well, Fox Track shows us right here, Ryan, that Soup is starting to get the range on that ball down and on the corners. If he can stay right there, then he'll be a little bit tougher on the Royals hitters. Because when he elevates and gets in the middle of the plate, that he gets in trouble.
Backhanded by LaRue. And this next pitch from Suppan will be his 40th of the inning. Soup's been around for a long time. He got to the big leagues as a 20-year-old with the Boston Red Sox back in 1995. And his big league debut was against the Royals. And 3 years later, he was pitching for the Royals. Vilas fouls it away. Four years ago in the National League Championship Series, the Cardinals getting past the Mets to go to the World Series, and Jeff Suppan was the series MVP. He made 2 starts against the Mets and gave up 1 run in 15 innings. The Cardinals went on to beat the Tigers. Tonight, he has thrown 40 pitches in this 3-run 3rd inning. And that's hit pretty good to right field. Randy Wynn going into the corner and runs it down. The Royals bat 8. They score 3. Scott Pasednik with a triple. He comes home on a single from Kendall. Billy Butler doubles. That drives in a run, and Billy three in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And Zach Greinke facing Albert Pujols, does so with nobody on base. 1 pitch, 1 out. Pujols is 0 for 2. Let's go back out to the Royals Hall of Fame and catch up with Joel.
All right, Ryan, back with Kurt Nelson, and here on the wall they form Cooperstown's strong Kansas City connection. Very impressive wall here. Tell us about it.
You know, this is really cool. After July, there'll be 292 people in the Baseball Hall of Fame. 46 of them will have played, managed, coached, or were an executive at Kansas City at some time in their career. So this is a tribute to all 46 of those people. We have a little bit of bio information, their connection to Kansas City, pictures of each one. We're centered around George Brett, but a lot of other great players. Satchel Paige, Jackie Robinson, just a lot of great players.
I already have Whitey Herzog's picture on the wall as well. Let's go back upstairs to you guys.
And when they come to their senses, they'll add Frank's picture to that wall.
All right.
But anyway, 2 pitches, 2 ground balls to short. And Colby Rasmus, he singled in the 2nd inning. And Zach misses outside with ball 1. Zach has given up 2 singles and a walk. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rasmus facing Zach for the first time in the second inning. The Cardinals missed Greinke last year in both the trip to St. Louis and then the series here in Kansas City. So they didn't see Zach as he was on his way to winning the Cy Young. Two balls and two strikes. Zach's career ERA against the Cardinals is 5.24. That's 3 starts and 2 relief appearances. And C.B. Buckner punches out Rasmus, and Zach retires the side in order. Rethink possible. By Panera Bread. Explore a menu of hearty soups, salads, sandwiches, and breakfast items at Panera Bread. And by Chevrolet. Come see for yourself why 1,000 people a day are switching to Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealer. 3-0 Royals to the bottom of the 4th. Royals forcing Jeff Suppan to throw 41 pitches in the 3rd inning alone. And they scored 3. Suppan got Mitch Meyer on a fly out to deep right field to end the 2nd inning. Mitch with just 6 at-bats on the road trip. So he didn't get much playing time, with Jose Guillen playing right field and David DeJesus shifting over to center. Cold foul, and the count is 1-2.
Yeah, Sue probably would have benefited by staying on the bench as long as he was on the mound the last inning. That was a real quick inning offensively, and finds himself right back out there again.
7 pitches is all Zach Greinke needed to get through the top of the 4th. But Suppan begins the bottom of the 4th with his 3rd strikeout tonight. Meyer is 0 for 2. Zach Greinke has hit 98 tonight. Jeff Suppan has maxed out at 90 in our Roadrunner Turbo speed pitch comparison. Remember, you can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. Yuniesky Betancourt struck out his first time, and he hits a bullet right to Lopez. So tough hitting luck for Uni, and there are 2 down. Coming up on Wednesday at the end of this homestand, it's a special 80s retro edition of Incan College Night, a 7:10 game with the White Sox High school and college students get select tickets for just $7, but it's also 80s retro night, so wear your best 80s gear. There'll be a costume contest, a trivia contest, and a chance to win some great prizes. I'm assuming that the boys in the truck were implying that that lady with her headband had her 80s gear on for tonight. Going with a little flash dance look. Sinking liner into left is going to drop in front of Holiday. And now it rolls by him, and Pasetnik is into second base. So Pasetnik has his third hit of the game. And he will most likely move up to second base after the error on Holiday.
Well, you see, this ball here may have been able to get caught. If Matt Holiday could have came right across, he might have been able to catch this ball. He started giving ground on this ball, and he just kept giving ground, and then when the ball hit, went right out the end of his glove.
And it is an error on Holiday, so it's a single for Pasetnik.
I had it already written down.
So a 3-hit game for Pasetnik. Jason Kendall singled, drove in a run, and scored last inning. He walked in the first. Off the end of the bat, Lopez charges, throws on the run. Kendall is out, and Pasetnik is stranded at second base. Three-run third against Jeff Suppan, and now Zach Greinke has a 3-run lead, and that to him must seem like a mountain of runs this year.
Well, you're right, Ryan. It's really kind of reversed. You know, normally they're down by 2 in the third or fourth, and now Zach's got 3 runs to work with. He can relax out there and not be afraid to make a mistake. He can do all the experimenting he wants right now.
Throws a strike to Felipe Lopez. Zach has had 3 different innings where he has thrown less than 10 pitches. So he's in excellent shape in that regard. And right back to Zach, who was calling for it just to make sure nobody else came in to make the play. Lopez is 0 for 2.
Well, Zach would only hope no one got there that fast.
Now David Freese took a walk in the second inning. Zach's only walk tonight. A little bit inside for ball 1. Zach has retired the last 8. Nice big bounce for Betancourt. And now he's retired 9 in a row. So he's gone through the entire lineup without one man reaching. Going back to the final out of the 2nd inning. You can join George Brett, Frank White, Brett Saberhagen, and many others at Royals Alumni Fantasy Camp in Surprise, Arizona this February. Your chance to enter the world of Major League Baseball and live your dream of playing with the Royals alumni. Fantasy Camp includes 2 personalized uniforms, your own clubhouse locker, an awards banquet, baseball cards, camp video, and much more. Go to Royals.com for more information. You can also sign up. 1 ball, 1 strike on Jason LaRue. Zach struck him out with a pitch that, at least on the stadium radar gun, registered at 100 miles an hour.
What do you think?
Well, that scoreboard has a bigger brain than I do. Betancourt throws out LaRue, and it's another inning for Zach with less than 10 pitches. We had Christian Colon on with us in the top of the 3rd inning. Royals signing him today, their 1st-round pick out of Cal State Fullerton. And in between innings, they showed some Christian Colon highlights, and he was formally introduced to the crowd and got a nice round of applause. So a good night for the Royals, as Colon is going to go back into the suite. Got his family with him. Press conference before the game today, spent some time down on the field. And what a good introduction to Kansas City for him. His first Royals game is a packed house, and the Royals lead by 3 into the bottom of the 5th inning as David DeJesus lines to center, and David is 0 for 3. Here's tonight's AT&T trivia question. Who are the 3 winningest pitchers at Kauffman Stadium since 2000? Well, I'm going to have an educated guess on one of them. Ball 1 to Billy Butler. Doubled with an RBI and scored in the 3rd inning. It was Billy's 24th double of the year. Suppan got him on a ground ball to short in the 1st. Maybe there's more than one person in the house tonight. That is part of that AT&T trivia question. Hit hard off of Schumacher's glove. He recovers. Pujols stretches, and they get the out. So 2 well struck outs against Suppan in the bottom of the 5th inning. Night and day. We talked about that over the weekend in Washington. It is now playing with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz. Action movie. 2 people on an airplane with an empty cockpit. What do you do?
They laugh because they got Tom Cruise. You know, whenever you watch a Tom Cruise movie, it's all about buckle your seatbelt. Here we go.
Greinke starting against the Cardinals, and tonight's Cabot Woodstein legendary performance takes us back to this date 6 years ago when Matt Morris outpitched Zach. Zach's first start against the Cardinals. They won that game 5-2. Zach's rookie year. So 20 years old then, 26 tonight, and he has 5 scoreless innings, which is 47 pitches. Randy Wynn grounded back to Zach in the 3rd inning. Skip Schumacher and Matt Holliday will follow. Veteran Randy Wynn started this year with the Yankees and was cut loose by them in May and hooked on with the Cardinals. Switch hitter who can play all over the outfield. Zach has retired the last 10. Up the left field line, slicing. It lands fair and up against the wall. Sednick plays it well, but in a 3-run game, he'll throw to 3rd. And the Cardinals have their first base runner since the 2nd inning. Fox Tracks brought to you by Chevy.
Well, Zach throws a fastball here. Ryan tries to get the ball away, and it stays in the middle of the plate. Randy Wynn does a good job hitting it down the line for Sednick. Did it as much as he could to try to catch this ball, but played it well off the wall. But with Wynn's speed, cruises into second base.
Strike 1 to Skip Schumacher. He opened the game swinging at the first pitch and singled to center field. and then grounded out in the third. And that's into left field. Randy Wynn hesitated, making sure it was going to go over Betancourt's head, so he'll get to third base. And they're at the corners with nobody out.
Well, right here, Ryan, just got to be able to know the height of the ball coming off the bat, and he didn't know if UNS would be able to jump up and knock this ball down, but with no outs, he didn't want to take any chances.
So 2 on, nobody out, and now you're getting into the dangerous part of the Cardinals' order with Matt Holliday and then Albert Pujols. So after retiring 10 in a row, Zach gives up a double to Randy Wynn and a single to Skip Schumacher.
That's one of the advantages that Tony La Russa gains by putting Matt Holliday second in front of Albert to get him a few more fastballs. So right here, Zach has a decision to make. You know, you got to pitch to this guy. You don't want the bases loaded with Albert coming up, so you got to figure out how to get him to put the ball in play and hopefully put the ball in play early and soft.
Those numbers that we just showed you might be the biggest reason why someone like Matt Holliday, hitting at .307 with 21 doubles and 11 home runs, is batting second and not fourth or fifth. He's had problems driving him home. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You'd think that would change a little bit in the number 2 spot because he's going to get more fastballs to hit. So it just depends on whether he tries to get too big and try to do too much. When he knows you're going to get a pitch, you got to still, stay composed enough to be able to get your pitch and make a nice swing and not try to over. You want to hit at 330 or you want to hit 350. It makes a big difference in your swing.
2 balls, 1 strike. Well, since he moved to number 2, and with that in mind, getting better pitches in front of Albert Pujols, Holliday is hitting over 400. Off the plate, Zach over near the third base line will throw out Holliday. Randy Wynn holds at third. Schumacher moves up to second base. And now Pujols comes up with an open base.
Zach feels his position well as any pitcher in the league, right? And I would definitely put him up for a Gold Glove against anybody. But, I mean, he helped himself so much on the mound, not only in pitching, but how he plays defense. And I really hate to say this, but that was a huge out. I don't hate to say it, but, you think Albert Pujols coming up, and you say, oh, man, Pujols coming up first and second. But with Holliday leading that inning off like that with those 2 men on, it could have been a lot worse.
Now look at what Pujols has done with runners in scoring position. Better than 70 points above his overall batting average. He has grounded out twice against Zach tonight. Grounded into a double play in the first inning and grounded as short in the fourth. Albert Pujols has just murdered the Royals in Kansas City. 2 balls, no strikes. So how do you pitch to Albert Pujols? Well, if you're looking at hot and cold zones, down and away, and up.
And up. That's probably a fine line between 421, 318, 389, and 250, 158. So it must be up out of the strike zone.
Went at him with a fastball at 97 on 2-0. Albert Pujols, a 3-time MVP, including last year. So last year's Cy Young in the American League against last year's MVP in the National League. 3 balls, 1 strike. And Pujols is used to having people pitch around him. He leads the National League in walks and in intentional walks.
Well, this is what irritates him right here, Ryan, is he broke down on his backside. At right knee came down, and he couldn't stay back. He wants to stay back and try to drive the ball.
So he walks for the 54th time, and they're loaded up for Ryan Ludwig. Well, this has been the year of the perfect game / no-hitter. This is Edwin Jackson pitching against his former team, the Tampa Bay Rays. He is not allowed a hit through 8 innings. It's a 1-0 game. A couple of years ago, Edwin Jackson was pitching for the Rays. This is in the bottom of the 8th. And a throw to second. Catches Carl Crawford. He was pinch running. So that's how Jackson gets through 8. The Rays were the victim of a perfect game this year and last year of all offenses.
One thing there when Jackson's doing again, Ryan, is he's up around that 135 pitch mark. We'll take a look at Fox Tracks, brought to you by Chevrolet. Zach right at the bottom of the zone.
Ryan Ludwig in game 1 of the series here in Kansas City hit a grand slam. And it was all centered around the dilemma of what to do with Albert Pujols. In the first inning of game 1 of that series, the Royals decided to pitch to Pujols. He hit a 2-run double. In the 3rd inning, he came up and they decided not to pitch to him, and Ludwig hit a grand slam. 3 balls and no strikes. Go back to June 19th.
Nobody better work ethic.
Deep fly ball.
Against Kyle Davies, into the glove of a Cardinal fan out in left field. And the Cardinals beat up the Royals here at Kauffman Stadium last year, outscoring them in a sweep 31-11. Three balls, 1 strike.
Look what Zach is doing right here, Ryan. He's trying to keep the ball out of the air. He's trying to keep the ball down, hopefully get a ground ball and get him a double play and get out of this.
Tony La Russa jawing at C.B. Buckner, who took his mask and his helmet off. And now he's eyeing Ryan Ludwig, who went for a little stroll. That was his way of protesting the 3-0 pitch. Pulled towards third, and now it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, C.B. Buckner has had issues with both dugouts tonight. Bases loaded, 1 out. Greinke against Ludwig, who is one of the best in his league in this situation. Pulled to Callaspo, out at second base. Double play, and the Cardinals are scoreless in the 6th.
people like to take pictures when they're on their vacations. I think there's probably some people here having a little vacation weekend at Kauffman Stadium, and, well, maybe it's that guy right there. So if you're friends with that guy or the guy on his right or whoever, take some pictures. Text your friends that are here right now and let them know to take some pictures, and you can send them in to us to foxsportskansascity.com. Click on Moments of the Series to upload your pictures, and we'll take some of the best ones from the weekend. I'm sure there'll be some people that have great or bad reactions to that last double play, and we'll take a look at the best ones on our Sunday postgame show and on Monday. Always a fun weekend when this place is filled, and right now some of those in red may not be too happy, but those in blue enjoying themselves. Guys,
all right, thank you, Joel. Here's our Chevy call to the bullpen, and it's another former Royal, Dennis Reyes, who pitched with KC in 2004, replacing Jeff Suppan, who gave up 3 runs, 7 hits in 5 innings. And the Royals will send up Alberto Callaspo, Mike Aviles, and Mitch Meyer. Reyes pitched in 40 games for the Royals in 2004, and 12 of those were starts. 2004, I remember, at least in the beginning of the year, the Royals' 5-man rotation was all lefties. Reyes has made a nice career for himself as a left-handed reliever. And Callaspo bangs his second hit. So 2 singles and a walk for Callaspo, and right after the Cardinals let an opportunity slip away in the top of the 6th, the Royals had the leadoff man on. All right, the answer to tonight's AT&T trivia question, the 3 winningest pitchers at Kauffman Stadium since 2000. You have a couple guesses?
Oh, I would say Suppan since he's here, and maybe Tim Belcher, maybe.
How about Zach Greinke? He's here.
Yeah, you got to have Zach in there.
And Brian Bannister.
Way off the mark.
You always start in the house. Always.
I did.
Yeah.
The house is just too big today.
Jay Witasick tonight would not be a good selection. He is not in the house.
Well, Don Wingert wouldn't be a good selection.
He is not in the house. Neither is Chris Fussell. Mike Aviles has reached on a force out. He is flied out. He also has a stolen base tonight, his first of the year. And Reyes throws a strike. Do you remember the 5 left-handed starters for the Royals in 2004?
Well, I was in Double-A, so probably no, I don't remember.
I think if I can remember myself here.
Jeremy Affeldt might have been one.
Yeah. Kevin Shank says Chris George. I don't think so. Darrell May. So Darrell May, Dennis Reyes, Jeremy Affeldt. Brian Anderson started opening day of 2004. Think turkey.
Jimmy Gobble.
Shallow right field. Schumacher didn't see it. That's time of night where the ball blends in with the sky. So Randy Wynn sprints in, bails him out. And Callaspo is back to first with 1 away. After the Cardinals leave, the White Sox are in town for 3. And on Tuesday night, that's our next T-shirt Tuesday. And the first 20,000 fans will receive a 1973 Retro All-Star T-shirt presented by Commerce Bank. That is T-shirt number 4 out of 7. Doc Carruthers, our stage manager, holding that up. First year of Kauffman Stadium. And the last time the All-Star game was at Kauffman Stadium. Well, well, well. What do you know looking at the MLB logo out in center field? Notice anything different since it premiered? Remember we talked about some of the hitters were worried about the white in the MLB logo that the ball coming out of the pitcher's hand, especially a right-hander, might blend in with the white. That area there around the ball and above the batter's helmet was white, and now it's dark.
Oh, that's awful high up.
Yeah.
These guys must be looking way above the pitcher's head.
That's for when John Roush comes to pitch for the Minnesota Twins. 6'11" John Roush. His fastball might come out of that logo.
I wonder what changes they had to go through to get MLB to color that in like that. That's actually a new logo.
I don't think they had to go through MLB. I think they just had to get a guy named Larry to go out there and paint it. Back to St. Petersburg. Edwin Jackson working on a no-hitter. He strikes out B.J. Upton for out number 1. So 2 outs away from a no-hitter, the former Tampa Bay Ray. And if he completes that, that would be the 3rd no-hit game against the Rays in the last 2 years. And I'll say it again, of all the offenses, I mean, they can beat you in more ways than I think any other team in the American League. With power, with speed, and this is at home on that artificial surface. But Mark Burley threw a perfect game against them last year. Dallas Braden a perfect game this year. Now Edwin Jackson working on a no-hitter. Edwin Jackson has walked 7, by the way. I believe that is John Jaso with a fly ball to left field. So 1 out away from a no-hitter for Edwin Jackson. Mitch Meyer pulls it foul off the right field line. We almost had, and we went over this a million times, but if there was a different call at first base in Detroit that fateful night for Armando Galarraga, we could have had 3 perfect games in the span of 1 month.
That's unbelievable. You think to yourself, it's just not that easy.
Callaspo at first with 1 out. Myers swings and misses. Look out. That gets into the seats behind the Royals dugout. There are not many empty seats here tonight, but I think that bat hit one of the few empty seats. So Meyer strikes out. It appears that everyone is okay. I hope she's just fixing her hair and not.
She might have got clipped a little bit.
Yeah. Somebody is being escorted up the stairs, but that somebody is walking on his own, so that's a good sign. Now outside ball 1 on Yuniesky Betancourt. So Reyes trying to work around the leadoff single from Callaspo. He has retired Aviles on a fly ball and struck out Mitch Meyer. 1 ball, 1 strike. Uni has struck out and lined out to shortstop.
Well, that line out there, I mean, he really jumped on that first pitch fastball and just hit it right at Lopez. Got to be pretty lucky. You can hit it hard, but you can't tell the ball where to go.
Popped up. And LaRue to the screen, and it hits the top of the screen. It hit the wire and ends up in the seats. Well, Edwin Jackson has his no-hitter in St. Petersburg after giving up a walk in the bottom of the 9th inning, his 8th of the game. He gets the no-hitter. He throws over 140 pitches. And against Jason Bartlett, a ground ball, a throw to first. And Edwin Jackson, against his former team, pitches a no-hitter. And that's the 3rd no-hitter / perfect game in the big leagues this year. And we want to thank our friends at Fox Sports Arizona for providing the video coverage of Edwin Jackson's no-hitter.
I wonder, A.J. Hinch, I wonder when he got around 149 pitches, I wonder if anywhere in there he thought about making a move. 8 walks, 149 pitches. Man.
They just announced that Edwin Jackson's next start will be August 28th. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Yuniesky Betancourt.
Well, he may not pitch again before the All-Star break.
Well, he certainly, and we've seen him with Tampa Bay and with Detroit, he certainly has no-hit stuff.
He really does.
No doubt about that. 8 walks. And there was also an error. So the Rays did have 9 base runners, but no hits. In the air to left field, Matt Holliday is there. Royals get a leadoff single in the 6th inning, but do not score. They lead, however, 3-0. Bottom of the 3rd with RBIs from Jason Kendall, Billy Butler, and Jose Guillen. And now Jose Guillen has his hitting streak up to 19 games. Look out. And it's a good thing that Kauffman Stadium's dugouts have the netting in front of them, because there is no reaction time whatsoever. The ball hit the screen, then everyone moved.
Yeah, Benny moved just a little bit late. That's when you get your arms over the rail and you really relax, and everything's got to move at the same time. You get hung up.
Ryan Bannister out pitching Steven Strasburg. Final game of the last road trip Wednesday afternoon in Washington. Colby Rasmus singled in the 2nd inning, struck out in the 4th. The Cardinals' best scoring opportunity against Zach Greinke was last inning. They had the bases loaded with 1 out, and their cleanup man Ryan Ludwig at the plate, but Zach got him to ground into a double play. Strikeout number 4 for Zach, 1 away in the 7th inning.
Well, Well, Zach's kind of got it going his way now, Ryan. It's that slider down underneath the swing that he's been looking for. Last year it bounced a little bit more, but that one had that sharp bite to it.
And now Felipe Lopez. 2 ground balls for him. 1 to first, 1 back to Zach. Zach has had 4 complete innings with 7 pitches or less. And it appears that the Cardinals' strategy tonight was to swing early. And so far, that has produced 4 hits. 3 balls and no strikes on Lopez. Cardinals came out swinging in the top of the first inning. Schumacher swung at the first pitch. Holliday swung at the first pitch. Second inning, Ludwig swung at the first pitch. So that might have been Mark McGwire's game plan. Maybe not. Right now the Cardinals with no runs, 4 hits, and down 3-0. Pulled to Aviles. 2 down in the 7th inning. Well, Royals fans attending tomorrow's game at 1:10 will have no problem keeping tabs on the U.S. national team as they take on Ghana in the World Cup round of 16. Scoring updates will be provided throughout the game, and fans will be able to watch the live action on select televisions located in each concourse, including Rival Sports Bar, the Diamond Club, the Stadium Club, the Crown Club. Also going to have a large screen TV located by the main stage and the outfield experience. So if you want to watch the World Cup tomorrow, listen to the endless symphony of horns, and watch the Royals, you can do both tomorrow.
Be a busy day.
I am not a big soccer fan. I'm not one of those people that complains about it and says it's a boring sport. I don't believe that. But I must admit, I'm as much interested in turning on the World Cup to hear if they're still blowing the horns as much as I am knowing what the score is.
Those horns are just constant. I mean, it never goes away. My granddaughter plays, and I go to her games, but I don't know the rules. I mean, whenever they say offside, I say where. But I'm like you. It's a fast-paced game, but just not enough scoring for me.
David DeJesus sprinting to the line, sliding, and comes up a little short, and may have banged his knees into the barrier wall.
It looks like he's got some kind of knee pad on there, but hopefully he didn't go underneath that pad and hit that concrete that's underneath there.
Royals head trainer Nick Kenny.
Yeah, outstanding effort. You know David's going to give you that. He just does go off the tip of his glove. But it looks like that knee went underneath that padding and hit that concrete, and that'll give you a nice jar.
Still limping out there. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes on David Freese. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Cardinals are down in order. Zach strikes out 2 more. Royals lead 3-0. 7 innings. The Royals have a 3-0 lead over the Cardinals in Game 1 of the I-70 series. And now Panera takes us around the major leagues, interleague play, the White Sox and the Cubs. We showed you that Edwin Jackson threw a no-hitter against the Tampa Bay Rays. Well, remember the last time the Cubs and White Sox hooked up, Ted Lilly took a no-hitter into the 9th inning at Wrigley Field, and Juan Pierre ruined that with a leadoff base hit. A no-hitter for Edwin Jackson with more than 140 pitches and 8 walks. Scott Pasednik on Monday night in Washington had a 4-hit game. And now he's working on his second 4-hit game with 3 hits tonight, including a triple and a run scored. He has 3 overall this season, and now going for his second in the span of a week. Pasednik, Kendall, and DeJesus coming up in the 7th inning. The Royals getting all 3 of their runs in the bottom of the 3rd against Jeff Suppan, who went 5 innings. And then Dennis Reyes took over in the 6th. 2-1.
That last road trip, watching Pasednik hit, it was really kind of nice because he basically was just hitting the ball wherever it was pitched. Line drive left field, line drive up the middle, line drive to right field. Wherever the ball was all hands, and just did an outstanding job of getting on base. And he's got his average back up to 296, so moving again toward that 300 mark.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Seems like Dennis Reyes has been around forever. He is only 33 years old. Originally from the Dodgers organization, and the immediate comparisons to Fernando Valenzuela. Both are from Mexico. Pulled to second base. Schumacher backs up to the grass. Pasednik is out for the first time tonight. Remember, before every Royals game, Hy-Vee Royals Live with Joel Goldberg. And after every Royals game, Boulevard Royals Live. Right here on Fox Sports Kansas City. Well, Tony La Russa is going to make a pitching change, we think. It appears that Mitchell Boggs is ready to come into the game. And now Reyes will depart. So Boggs was out of the bullpen, but didn't want to sprint in until he knew for sure. So the Chevy call to the bullpen with 1 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 7th. third sellout of the year. Over 38,000 here tonight, almost 39. Mitchell Boggs will take over with one out in the bottom of the seventh. Dennis Reyes went an inning and a third and gave up just one hit. Boggs, originally from the Cardinals system, drafted back in 2005 in the 5th round out of the University of Georgia. He'll get Jason Kendall with one out, nobody on. Jason has reached base twice tonight, walked in the first inning, singled, scored, drove in a run in the third. Royals getting all 3 runs in the third inning. Kendall, Butler, and Guillen driving him home. 1-1. So Jeff Suppan goes 5. He gives up 3 runs, 7 hits, and Dennis Reyes a scoreless inning and a third. .98 miles an hour and fouled back into the screen. Who isn't throwing 98 miles an hour? The radar gun might be a little hot.
It's unbelievable. I mean, if everybody threw 98, I mean, you used to have low-scoring games all the time.
Two and two.
Look at guys that throw 98 miles an hour. Just work on location. If you can figure out your location, you wouldn't need sliders and split fingers and changeups. You just spot your fastball on the outside, inside corner all day. You do well.
Kendall almost nicked by that pitch at 97. And hit by that one. So Kendall will take first for the 3rd time tonight.
That's Boggs' 2nd hit batter on the year, but with 12 walks and 29 innings, definitely a control problem there somewhere. I mean, he's just been working himself closer and closer to that pitch. Everything's been up and in to Jason, and that one just too far in for Jason to get out of the way.
Now David DeJesus, and he is 0 for 3. He did line out to center his last time up. Coming off an 8-hit road trip where he had 4 doubles. And David banged his knee up against the right field barrier wall as the Cardinals batted in the top of the 7th inning, trying to run down a ball, slid on the dirt, and his right knee going under the padding and hitting the concrete. To short. Lopez to Schumacher, and no throw to first base. So apparently he didn't like the grip. And the Cardinals get the 2nd out. DeJesus reaches.
Well, this is one of the toughest things, just learning how to turn that double play. He caught it with one hand, and then your strides get long, and you just get all out of whack there. And you got to maintain that togetherness on a double play. The hands and feet have to work together, but once he separated his hands and made his feet go flat, by the time he brought those 2 hands together, it was too late. Jason Kendall was all over it. And you're watching David run down the line. He wasn't running too well down to first base.
That means Billy Butler bats with a man on and 2 down. Billy was in the middle of the 3-run bottom of the 3rd inning with another double, his 24th of the year. So that ties him for the league lead. Drove in his 38th and eventually came around to score. And Boggs is missing inside to the right-hand batters. An update of You Call It, presented by Sprint, who is the Royals MVP on offense so far. And very close, 1 percentage point separates David DeJesus from Billy Butler. DeJesus at 325 when the game started. Butler at 324. had a good swing at that pitch and fouled it away. Billy's double in the third inning was his 92nd hit of the year. And the Cardinals appear to be convinced that David DeJesus is going to run with his 3 stolen bases this year, his banged up knee, and with 2 outs and Billy Butler at the plate.
He doesn't look like a guy that can run.
And he is running. Pulled over to Freese at third base, and the throw is on line, and the inning is over. We've played 7, and the Royals are still out in front, 3-0. On defense.
Well, you know, this is it, Ryan. This is what Zach really needed with the bases loaded. Cashful to Aviles to Butler to get himself out of trouble and keep the score at 3-0.
Back in the top of the 6th inning, Eddie Rodriguez, Royals infield coach, was thrilled with that, as well as the double play the Royals turned in the 1st inning with Albert Pujols at the plate. So with men on in the 1st, and Pujols up there, a double play. Bases loaded in the 6th, and Ludwig up there, and a double play. Now pinch hitter Aaron Miles batting for Jason LaRue. Singles to center field to begin the 8th inning.
Aaron Miles just he chokes up. He just likes to slap the ball around, and this is like a little two-seamer that ran off the plate, and he just stayed right with it.
Aaron Miles, like Jeff Suppan, is back with the Cardinals this year after being away. Played with the Cubs last year and then signed to a minor league contract with the Cardinals and called up from the minor leagues at the beginning of this month. Randy Wynn doubled leading off the 6th inning. That was the inning the Cardinals eventually had the bases loaded with 1 out, and Zach got the double play from Ludwig. It's a pretty small slice, but Randy Wynn against Zach Greinke is 3 out of 4 with 2 doubles. He's down in the count here, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, in order to hit these power pitches, these power arms, is that you got to have a short swing and you can't get too long, and that's when they take advantage of you. Just let the ball travel and then just keep the swing short. You can cut a lot of miles per hour off the fastball when you do that.
Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Cardinals this year have won every single interleague series they have played. They have beaten the Angels, the Mariners, the A's, and they just took 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays, although they lost yesterday 5-0. Randy Wynn is out this time, and Zach has struck out his 6th.
Just ran right off the plate, started in the middle, had a late movement away. And Randy Wynn committed when it was in the middle, and the ball just ran right off the plate, right off the end of his bat.
Zach is now at 90 pitches with 1 out in the 8th inning. Ball 1 to Skip Schumacher. He has 2 hits against Zach. Cardinals with 5 and 7 in the 3rd. Schumacher, in fact, opened the game, and on the first pitch that he saw from Zach, single to center field. And now he lines one into left field. So a 3-hit game. And now the Cardinals have 2 on, 1 out for Holiday. 6 pitches in the 1st, then 7 in the 3rd, 7 in the 4th, 7 in the 5th. A long inning in the 6th, and that's when the Cardinals loaded things up with 1 out. Zach got out of that, but he threw 21 pitches. And now 2 on, 1 out for Matt Holliday. And after Holliday, it's Pujols.
Tough middle. There's no easy out to us in that 2, 3, 4 spot. I mean, he makes the pitcher really have to pitch.
Fastball at 97 with some movement. Misses low, 1 ball, no strikes.
He's got a lot of movement on his fastball, and when he induced a double play back in the 6th, just try to keep the ball down, try to get those big hitters to hit over the top of it and get his ground ball.
Two balls and no strikes. And Jason Kendall coming out and saying, hey man, we need to throw some strikes here, because after Holiday, it's Albert Pujols. I don't think the Royals want to face him with the bases loaded and 1 out, with Albert representing the go-ahead run.
I have to agree with you all the way. You got to, whatever happens, you got to make it happen right here.
I mean, Holiday and Pujols are 2 guys that you don't want to allow to beat you, but if you had to pick one over the other, you'd pick Holiday.
Well, it's a matter of which one you're going to see. If Holiday beats you, you can go to sleep. If Albert Pujols beats you, you might be up all night.
Into right field, well hit, but DeJesus is there, backing onto the track. So that's the 2nd out, and Miles moves up to 3rd base. So he didn't quite get all of it, but he also avoids a double play.
Avoids a double play and avoids the open base at first base, and Albert Pujols, the Royals have a tough decision to make right here.
Well, Ned Yost spent 6 years managing the Brewers, which means he had 6 series a year against Albert Pujols. First and 3rd, 2 down, and Pujols takes ball 1. Zach got him to ground into a double play in the 1st. Grounded out again in the 4th. He walked in the 6th, which set the stage for Ryan Ludwig with the bases loaded, 1 out, but Ludwig grounded into a double play. Grounded to short. Flip to second. The Cardinals leave 2 more in the 8th. And Zach gets past Pujols. He has thrown 8 scoreless innings.
highlights, interviews, and much more coming up. It should be festive out there, guys, at Rivals with this great crowd. Back to you.
Certainly is here outside of Rivals with a full moon watching Kauffman Stadium, a sellout crowd. Aaron Miles, who pinch hit for Jason LaRue, will go to second base. Skip Schumacher will go to left field. And Yadier Molina, the Cardinals' starting catcher, who was on the bench to begin the game tonight, is back behind the plate for Mitchell Boggs, who begins his second inning and throws ball one to Jose Guillen. Jose extended his hitting streak to 19 games with an RBI single with 2 outs in the third inning. 2 balls, no strikes. Royals getting their 3 runs against Jeff Suppan, all coming in the bottom of the third inning. Dennis Reyes, an inning and a third scoreless. Boggs got the final 2 outs of the 7th. And he'll get Guillen, Callaspo, and Aviles in the 8th. Royals looking for a little insurance before they get to the 9th. That is up the middle. It is into center field. And another single for Jose Guillen. They should start leading him off.
If he keeps hitting the ball soft like that, they could. That ball really got in on his hands right here. He just happened to hit it in a good spot. You watch this pitch here, just rolled in on his hands, but he's so strong, and he hit the ball in the middle of the field. And you can see he just keeps his hands right there. The ball was almost in on him, so he just got through it. He didn't stop his swing, and that carried the ball right through the infield.
Willie Bloomquist will run for him. And Alberto Callaspo comes to the plate. The Cardinals are ready for the bunt. Freese is in at third, but Alberto pulls it through the right side, and Willie will keep running to third base. The throw arrives late. First and third, nobody out.
That's a change up here that goes away, and Alberto did a good job. Just got out in front of it. He's lucky. Got top hand just came over the top and hit the ball in between Miles and Albert Pujols over there, Ryan. And Willie Bloomquist, when he's on first base and anything to right field, he's going first or third. He's off and running. The ball goes right over his head, and he's not going to hesitate. He goes all the way into third base.
So the Cardinals bring the infield in for Mike Aviles. And Aviles hits the first pitch foul into the seats off the third. That was the third hit for Alberto Callaspo. So he was slumping during the last homestand, but he hit .360 on the road trip through Atlanta and Washington, and now he begins this homestand 3 for 3 with a walk. Aviles is 0 for 3. Popped up. It's going to be a tough play with the infield in. But Lopez handles it just fine. He had to turn and burn, as they say. Just run to the spot where he thought the ball was going to be and looked up, and it was a very good judgment. But routine pop-up if the infield's back, not so easy with the infield in.
Well, you described it perfectly, Ryan. You got to turn, you got to outrun the ball, and then you got to anticipate where it's going to be when you turn around. If he tries to backpedal or anything, that ball's probably going to fall.
So first and third, one out. And now Mitch Meyer, who is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Royals trying to take game one with the Cardinals in 2 series with the Cardinals last year. The Royals only won 1 game. Cardinals were 5-1 against KC, including sweeping the Royals here. Up the middle, Miles backhands, out at second base, low throw, gets past Pujols, no double play, and Bloomquist scores.
That's a big run right there for the Royals. And this is a ground ball. Aaron Miles really does a good job making an adjustment. He gave a nice feed to Lopez, but when he dropped that arm down, the ball turned over, and Albert wasn't able to hold on to it. Got a nice clear shot to first base. It just held on to it a little bit too long. The ball didn't come up for Albert, stayed down.
So since you cannot assume a double play, Meyer ends up with an RBI, and now he's running as Betancourt fouls it away. Uni is 0 for 3. Royals with another 10-hit game. 3 from Posednik, 3 from Callaspo, and 2 from Guillen. So 8 of the 10 coming from 3 hitters. Royals also have 4 hitters tonight in a 10-hit game that are without a hit.
Unieski tonight really has been expanding the zone on himself, especially on the ball up, and more or less hurting himself more than the pitcher making good pitches.
Didn't mean to do it, and now he's down, no balls, 2 strikes. Royals with 3 in the 3rd inning, and now 1 in the 8th. No sign of Joakim Soria, as Zach Greinke has only thrown 97 pitches in his 8 innings. He might start warming up once the 9th begins, and he certainly will be warming up if Zach gets in any trouble. Tonight so far, it's just a lot of sitting and admiring the work of Zach Greinke.
Like 2 days off.
Still 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Meyer not going anywhere. He has only attempted 1 stolen base this season, and he was thrown out. Right field, slicing away from Randy Wynn, and Betancourt is still alive. Nice work by the ball boy down there, getting up, taking his chair, and clearing the path for Randy Wynn. There's some skill to that, you know.
He's got to know which way to go.
That's right.
Posednik's triple went down there and rolled along and then hit his water bottle. If they run the wrong way, it could be trouble now.
Molina throws down to first, and Pujols saves him with a pick. Randy Wynn was not really guarding the line in right field, so if that gets past Pujols, that rolls all the way down into the corner.
Yeah, Mitch has got a chance of score on that ball. It gets down that corner like that. But Average got one shot at a ball like that, and he was able to catch it.
Fouled away again. Tomorrow, Kyle Davies will pitch in Game 2. And it's not a typical 6:10 Saturday game. Tomorrow's game is at 1:10. The Cardinals have not officially announced who their starter will be. It appears if they do not use Blake Hawksworth tonight, he will be the starter. So tomorrow's game at 1:10. Ivy Royals Live begins at 12:30. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes on Betancourt. And then the final game on Sunday has Bruce Chen going up against Jaime Garcia, who is 7-3 with a 1.79 ERA for St. Louis. And as we showed you at the top of the broadcast, Tony La Russa hasn't had many issues with his top 3 starters, but had some problems with the 4th and 5th starter. Betancourt strikes out to end the inning. And we go to the 9th. Zach Greinke going for a shutout. He'll get Ryan Ludwig, Colby Rasmus, and Felipe Lopez in the 9th inning. And perhaps his 2 biggest outs tonight came from Ludwig in the 6th. That was a 3-run game at the time, and with the bases loaded, 1 out, Ludwig coming up. He had a grand slam against the Royals here last year, but Zach got him to ground into a double play. Billy Butler runs over to the tarp and runs out of room. Zach's last shutout was on August the 30th of last year at Seattle, and that was a 1-hit shutout. One ball, 2 strikes. On Wednesday in Washington, the Royals became the last team in the American League to throw a shutout. It was a combined effort, 3 pitchers. And now a chance to throw back-to-back shutouts. Look at that swing. Golfing one down and in, and Meyer runs it down in right center field. Well, no surprise who tonight's Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment is. Zach Greinke.
You got to give it to the Royals' best pitcher, Ryan. Zach pitched well today, 6 strikeouts, and he's definitely mixed all of his pitches in and gave his defense a chance to really get behind him and make some plays. But outstanding performance like Zach, and he does like most great pitchers do. he pitches himself out of a tough situation.
You're wondering why Ryan Ludwig is at first base. Apparently they called catcher's interference. And now Tony La Russa checking to make sure that Ryan Ludwig is okay. He missed the last 2 games with a calf injury. So he makes contact with Kendall's glove, and by Kendall's reaction, you can tell he did make contact, and Ludwig saying something as he was leaving the box. So he missed yesterday and Wednesday's game with a bad calf, and now in the 9th inning, Tony La Russa wants to make sure he's good to run. So it's an error on Jason Kendall and no charged at bat for Ludwig.
Had a pretty good breaking ball by Zach, and Jason didn't really let it come to him. He wanted to reach out and get it before it hit the ground, and Ludwig had a long swing on that. You remember, you had said, well, look at that swing. You know, that's probably because he hit the glove.
Rasmus singled in the 2nd inning. Zach has struck him out twice since then. 2 balls and 1 strike. The last time the Royals threw back-to-back shutouts was September 29th and September 30th of 1992, 18 years ago. Two balls, 2 strikes. Dennis Rasmussen and Rick Reed were the 2 Royals pitchers who threw the back-to-back shutouts. It was Brian Bannister who did not go the distance on Wednesday, out pitching Steven Strasburg. And Rasmus lines it into right center field. That's going to roll deep. Ludwig will go first to third at least. Jose Akendo in a 4-run game isn't going to stretch him. So Rasmus has his 2nd hit. And runners at 2nd and 3rd with nobody out. And that is the first, make that the 2nd extra base hit against Zach tonight.
Well, Rasmus gets a pitch, and Zach left up out over the plate, Ryan, and he drove it into right center field, and Mitch did a good job just taking it easy, getting the ball back in, and the Cardinals played it safe at 3rd base.
Well, the tying run is on deck, so that makes this a save situation. 106 pitches for Zach, and Ned Yost is going to point to the bullpen. And this sellout crowd is going to show its appreciation for Zach's effort tonight. Zach has allowed 3 earned runs in 15 innings. So a save situation for Joakim Soria going for his 18th. Ryan Ludwig at third base. Bobby Rasmus at second and nobody out. And now a fly ball into right field. David DeJesus getting behind it. He'll play it to second base. No shutout tonight. So Lopez gets Ludwig home, and it's 4-1.
But David did everything he could to get behind this ball, but he had no intention of throwing this ball to home plate. He wanted to throw the ball to second base and keep the game going that way. Had no chance at the plate anyway on that fly ball.
So Rasmus at third, one out. And David Freese takes inside for ball one. In his last start against the Braves, and this is remarkable, Zach with another so-called quality start. 3 earned runs in 7 innings and a no decision. That is into the seats off to the right field side. And you know that Zach has been a bad luck guy this year and last year. Should have won more than 16 games. But when he pitched his quality start on Saturday against Atlanta with a no decision, that was the 30th time since 2008 that he pitched a quality game and got either a loss or a no decision. 30. And I'm sure you will not be surprised when I tell you that's the most in the major leagues.
It just speaks to his abilities as a pitcher and how far he's come. And I think that reminds you about Zach is the fact that he goes out there. I don't think he ever expects to get a lot of runs when he goes on the mound, but he does control the mound when he's out there. And when he controls the mound, it's fun to watch.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Don't need to spend much time telling the Cardinals how good Joakim Soria has been. 8 games, and he has not given up a single earned run. 3 saves, going for his 4th tonight, and trying to take game 1 from the Cardinals. Into right center field, it's a 4-2 game. So Freese drives in a run, and that means the potential tying run comes to the plate with 1 out. So the 2 runs in this inning charged to Zach, one of them unearned because of the catcher's interference. Aaron Miles singled as a pinch hitter against Zach in the 8th inning. Two and 0.
Joakim Soria's command not quite as sharp as it's been. He hasn't been getting a ton of work either, Ryan. I think that affects him a lot more than maybe you would think.
Gets a strike there, 2-1. Joakim's last appearance was on Wednesday, saving the 1-0 game for Brian Bannister. A combined shutout, Soria, Tejeda, and Bannister, and a 1-0 game. Now 3 balls, 1 strike on Aaron Miles. Ryan Ludwig reached on catcher's interference, and that has started a 2-run inning for the Cardinals. Colby Rasmus double. Felipe Lopez with a sacrifice fly that got Ludwig home, and David Freese with a single to right center that scored Rasmus.
Yeah, Joaquin has definitely been on the plate a lot more than he has been tonight, Ryan. You can see where all these pitches are. The 5 pitches he's thrown there, and Miles just hasn't been close to the strike zone.
Freese was running, and it's fouled away. The thing about Joaquin, though, there is never any change in his demeanor. I mean, if he is just hitting the bullseye with all of his pitches, or if he is a bit all over the place like he is tonight, he looks exactly the same on the mound. Now Miles grounds it off of Soria's leg, barehanded by Betancourt, and they get the out at first.
This is an absolute great play right here by Betancourt. He's only going to have one shot at getting Aaron Miles, and he's got to be able to get that ball at the right point of his hand where he doesn't have to make any adjustments at all. When he takes his ball off of Soria's leg, get a good grip on it, and just rifles a throw across first base. And Greinke being an ex-shortstop, he can appreciate that play.
Even got a smile out of it.
A rare smile.
Randy Wynn into right field. David DeJesus is there, and the Royals take game 1. So Zach Greinke pitches 8 excellent innings, wins his 3rd game of the year. And Joaquin Soria picks up the save. That's number 18 for Soria. So in 6 games last year against St. Louis, the Royals won 1. And now in a 3-game series this year, the Royals take game 1. And that ends a 5-game winning streak for the Cardinals here in Kansas City. Let's take a look at tonight's Chevrolet play of the game. It just happened.
Well, this may be a game saver right here. This is a hard hit ground ball off Soria's leg, and Yuniesky Betancourt going to his left, comes back to his right, makes a barehand stab and makes a nice play and a nice throw to first base to get Aaron Miles.
So the Royals take game 1, 4-2. Let's go down to the field, and here's Joe Goldberg.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Zach Greinke with a great performance once again as the Royals knock off the St. Louis Cardinals here in the series opener. Few hits for Scott Podsednik, but first let me ask you about your starting pitcher, Zach Greinke. Another great game for him. What did you see from him in some big situations as well?
He was very sharp tonight, pretty much himself. Pitched himself out of a couple of jams, was very impressive there, got the bases loaded. Like we had either no or one out, and was able to execute some pitches and to get himself out of the inning. So offensively kind of gave us a little boost, and luckily there in the third we were able to string some hits together to put up 3, and that was pretty much the story of the ball game.
Yeah, as far as Zach goes, to be able to do it against a guy like Albert Pujols, the meat of that lineup, I mean, how much respect do you have for that, and how challenging that is as well?
Well, the middle of that lineup is power packed. You got Holiday hitting 2, Pujols there. They got some guys who can do some damage, so that made it that much more impressive to do what he did tonight. Like I say, he was very sharp.
And finally, for you, a few hits here tonight. And you talked about just bunching some of those hits together, but some extra base hits as well, which I know you guys have been lacking a little bit, just to try to get a little something going against Suppan.
Well, we've been getting guys on in plenty of situations. We just haven't been coming up with that one big hit here or there to push enough runs across. But there in the third, we were able to execute in some key situations. So. We're leading the league in hitting, but when runners are on, I think we tighten up a little bit. But we're going to try to change that and try to continue to execute with runners in scoring position.
Great job tonight.
Thank you.
All right, that is Scott Podsednik as he gets a big round of applause from the Royals faithful here. We'll talk about some of that Royals hitting, plus Zach Greinke getting out of some big-time jams to get the win here tonight. We'll have highlights and reaction coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Ryan?
All right, thank you, Joel. So the Royals